Back to another live feed on Shopman's YouTube channel. Let's get into it, man. We'll talk about a rap album review from 1996, 30 years ago. Outkast, Big Boi, Andre 3000, Aliens. Great album cover, great album. They coming off no 1994 Southern Playalistic kind of like music. Then they came out with this album called Aliens. Something different. They're on a different plane on this one. And let's get into it. Thanks to the 481 subscribers. I got 19 more subscribers to go, man, to get to that magic number 500. So I appreciate the support. Keep it going. Aliens. Let's get into it. This came out in 96. Great album. You say that what they did was just similar to Tribe Called Quest, for it was like making 3 classic albums. They actually did. In their case, they made 4 straight classic albums, but this was a classic album right here. This album was released, came out on August 27th, 1996. Elevators, Me and You was the first single. Then Aliens on the A side, and the B side was Wheels of Steel. Both songs came out at the same time. That would be like an A side, B side kind of thing. Maxi singles. Well, anyway, those are the songs that were released as a second single, Aliens and Wheels of Steel. Both songs were great. And then Jazzy Bell. So this album was different from their first album. Very different. They went into a different stratosphere, a different direction with this album. The album featured outer space inspired production sounds with Outkast and producers Organized Noise, incorporating elements of dub and gospel into the compositions. Several songs featured the duo's first attempts at producing music by themselves. Lyrically, the group discusses a broad range of topics, including urban life as hustlers, existential introspection, extraterrestrial life. The album's title is a portmanteau of ATL, abbreviation of Atlanta, Georgia, the duo's hometown, and Aliens, which has been interpreted by critics as similar as the duo's feeling of being estranged from American society. Aliens made its debut at number 2 on the U.S. Billboard charts, 200 chart, and it sold nearly 350,000 copies in its first 2 weeks of release. The album was very, very well received by music critics upon its release, so who praised its unique sound and lyrical content. It has been certified double platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America for shipments of 2 million copies in the United States. Thanks for the 10 people that are tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. Again, the singles like Elevators, Me and You, Aliens, Wheels of Steel, Jazzy Bell with the singles that came off the album. And since its release, Aliens has been listed by several magazines and critics as one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. So that's what it comes down to. So LaFace Records gave Outkast more creative control and advance money for their follow-up album, Aliens. The duo, Andre 3000 and Big Boi, took the opportunity to recreate their image. So on a trip to Jamaica with producer Mr. DJ, the two decided to abandon their cornrow hairstyles in favor of a more natural aesthetic, vowing to stop combing their hair. The Dungeon family member Big Rube observed an increase in the duo's confidence after returning from their first tour, remarking that they started understanding the power they had in their music. They started showing swagger that certain artists have, the ones that were stars. And the members also underwent changes in their personal lives. I'll get into that, but it's all about the album and the music. Now, despite the success of Southern Playalistic cloud-like music, had some detractors. Hip-hop tastemakers were unaccustomed to the album style. At the height of the East Coast, West Coast hip-hop scene already being established at the time, many did not view the South as a legitimate, respectable scene. At the 1995 Source Awards, In the award ceremony held by the Source magazine, Outkast won the best newcomer category, but they were booed upon taking the stage, delivering their acceptance speech. And then Andre 3000 said the words that definitely resonate to this day. 30 years later, the South had got something to say. Later recalled how the album was received by some listeners. People thought that the South basically had only bass music. But at first, people were looking at us like, I don't know. Taken aback by the backlash of 2000, and Big Boi channeled their frustration in the studio to improve upon their debut. So far as the recording and production of this album, thanks for the 21 people tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. After acquiring their own recording studio, the duo immediately started working on new material, assimilating themselves with music recording studio equipment as they sought to become more ambitious artists and less dependent on other producers. So they were more accustomed to playing live. Until the Big Boi and Andre 3000 significantly changed his lifestyle. He adopted a more eccentric fashion sense, became a vegetarian. He has since resumed eating meat, stopped smoking marijuana. So Andre 3000 returned to high school to earn his diploma during the recording of Outkast Atliens. Thanks for the person hitting the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Beginning work on Outkast Atliens. Before doing that, Andre 3000 purchased an SP1200 drum machine, MPC 300 sampler, a Tascam mixing board, turntables with stacks of classic records. Although he had never produced a strong before, he used techniques learned from observing the Dungeon crew at work. Elevators Meeting You. Elevators Me and You were the first song the duo created together for the album. The duo refrained from sampling on the album, and Big explained, I feel like you treat the listener when you sample. If it's an old school jam, leave it to the old. We want to have our own school of music. It was a good idea. Outkast recorded the album in sessions at several Atlanta studios, Bosstown Recording Studios, Doppler Recording Studios, Patchwork Recording Studios, Purple Dragon Studios, Studio Lococo, as well as Chung King Recording Studio, and Sound on Sound Recording in New York City. For Outkast Atliens, the band aimed for a consistent set of songs in which the listener would not need to skip tracks. So Outkast wrote about around 35 songs for the album and reduced them to 14. The studio songwriting style for the album had no solid structure, was mostly spontaneous. Big Boi noted, stuff will just come to you. I'll be sitting in the truck and I start rhyming. People look at me like I'm crazy. That's how it starts. As far as the composition of the album, 2/3 of the album was produced by Organized Noise, the primary team for Outkast at the time. The rest produced by Earth Tone, the third production team that included Outkast themselves, Mr. DJ, and Andre 3000, Big Boi producing the songs Jazzy Bell, and Elevators Me and You. So it has nobly had a more spacey, laid-back production sound, which they expanded upon their follow-up Equimini. Although the group drew from George Clinton's Outer Space-inspired compositions, the band utilizes a more laid-back style as opposed to the hard funk leanings of Clinton. Many tracks featured strong echo, reverb, taking the influence from dub and reggae. The album's introduction track, You May Die, has been described as churchy. Elevators Me and You contains atmospheric elements, including echoes, dub influenced bass, organ riffs, and telephone tones. 13th Floor. Going on. Things a spoken word introduction from Big Rude, somber soul vocals from Deborah Keeneland's The Prince's piano riff. While Wheels of Steel features furious turntable stretching by Mr. DJ. Extraterrestrial offers a break in the continuity of the record as it features no drum beat. So lyrically, Andre 3000, Big Boi, they abandoned the hard party and player characters of their debut into more spacey, funky, futuristic personas on Outkast Atliens. Duo reflected a maturity in the wake of Big Boi's daughter, stuff like that. So lyrical content was different. It went from this, what they were doing the first time, to different lyrical content, extraterrestrial life, space travel. They talk about Southern pride on the title track, and Andre 3000 explained his new adopted drug-free lifestyle. Also, Elevator's Me and You illustrates Outkast's rise to fame. It was inspired by the show the band played at Howard University with P. Diddy in the audience. The metaphor this song was dealing with the elevator for the ups and downs of fame. Babylon reflective about religious attitudes towards sex illustrates Andre 3000's upbringing and his forbidding attractions throughout childhood. Jazzy Bell discusses the group's increasingly enlightened view regarding women. 13th floor growing owes a meditation on aging, emphasizing Southern hip hop's legitimacy. So this album was a great album. I was to say it definitely had a lot of success. Um, Going platinum on November 6, 1996. Elevators, Me and You was released on July 5th, 1996, reached number 12 and spent 20 weeks on the charts. And they had a double A-side single, It's Aliens, with Wheels of Steel, as the second single, number 23 on the Billboard Hip Hop R&B charts, and number 3 on the Hot Rap Songs chart. So this album was doing well, very well. Great album. Now, the legacy of this album is, according to critics like All Music editor Steve Huey, viewed the album as Outkast's most focused work. In 1998, it was selected by the Source magazine as the 100 best rap albums. Complex ranked this album as the 5th on their list of the 50 greatest sophomore albums in hip hop history. It's titled 15th on the 50 rap album titles ever, and the title tracks beat 91st on 100 greatest hip hop beats of all time. Yeah, this is a great album, man. This is a classic album. Songs like Mainstream. Mainstream was a great song with Twimo and Cool Joe. Very, very different. It's great stuff. Two Dope Boys in a Cadillac. That was a great album. Great song. Two Dope Boys in a Cadillac. That's basically it, man. If I was looking at this classic album from 1996, it's the Aliens. I'll be back with more live streams today. A lot of work going to be done, and appreciate the time. Thanks for hitting the like button, wherever it may concern. If you like the channel, subscribe. Appreciate the time. Be back soon with another live feed. Talk to you soon.